Welcome back to Families in Action right here on KHTS, AM 1220, your hometown station. Hey, if you're out there and you'd like to be a part of the discussion, it's easy. We just love to hear from you. All you have to dial is 661-298-5487. And by the way, that works out to 298 KHTS. Cary, we'd love for people to call in.
We do, and we don't believe in setting up phone calls. So if you want to call. If you don't.
That's right.
But anybody that wants to call, jump on in and be part of our discussion. So before we went on break, Lorraine, you were wonderful. I mean, you really
Thank you,
shared
Cary.
from your heart, and I appreciate that. And we're going to keep track on you. Oh, well, I am, because you're in my program. But we're going to keep track of you way after. And when you have 6 months sober, I want you on the radio. I want all you on the radio again when you have 6 months sober. So, sir, since you're sitting right there, introduce yourself.
My name is Tyler.
And how old are you?
I just turned 24.
And go on, sir.
And
where are you, and what are you doing, and all that good stuff?
Well, I am a heroin addict in recovery, now taking residence at the Piru House in Piru, California. And it's
lovely, Piru.
Yeah, it's lovely.
It really is cool up there.
It
I mean,
is.
that is such a charming little place, isn't it?
Yes,
But
sir.
go on, sir.
I was demoralized and desperate. I was living on the streets in a tent city in the middle of the Antelope Valley Desert. And I knew that if I was ever going to be a part of my family's life and have a life of my own, that I needed to get help and I needed to take it seriously. And now here I am, and for the first time since I was 13 years old, I am 4 days clean from any drug or alcohol.
Wow, how cool is that, man? How does it feel?
I feel like myself for the first time since becoming an adolescent.
It's weird, isn't it?
It's amazing.
Tyler, I wanted to ask you a quick question.
Yes, sir.
You didn't just wake up one morning and say, hey, I'm going to try heroin, did you?
Oh, no.
How did it happen?
He was walking down the street, Mike, and he looked up into the sky, and some heroin fell into his hands and said,
Did that
"Smoke
happen?"
me."
Might as well have. It's an epidemic right now.
Yeah.
And everyone that I graduated high school with and stayed close with, one by one, got involved with heroin. And I was already taking prescription pills, the generic junkie story.
It always starts there, don't it?
And they get too expensive. Heroin's cheaper, heroin is stronger, and it took a grasp on me about 2 years ago, maybe a little more than 2 years. And just took control of my life.
When we're young, we have contracts. When I grow up, here's things I'll never do. Remember those? I won't smoke cigarettes because it'll kill me. We start hanging around with people that are smoking cigarettes, and we said, oh, what the heck, after a while we take a hit. It's only a cigarette, I won't smoke weed. Well, it's only weed, it's natural. God put it there. What do? We smoke a little weed, we get desensitized. It opens the door for everything else. So it's only weed, then we go to a party. All the other drugs are what you call drugs of opportunity. You start smoking cigarettes, you start smoking weed, you start drinking alcohol, everything else is waiting. So it's just a matter of time. It's like you said, all my friends, because you picked that category of people to hang out with. They're all partying, drinking a little bit, smoking a little bit of pot. It's just natural for the rest of it to fall in place. You know, and then you wake up one day and you're living in a tent, isolated from your family and the world, and you feel like maybe dirt.
Yes, sir.
At best.
Yep.
And then you come to a place like this. The bad thing is here, getting you sober is easy for us. We can put you on Suboxone, we can detox you. That's easy. The trick is when you leave. And it's like I said earlier, most heroin addicts or alcoholics or anything that comes to our program, they do really good there. But when they leave, they go, well, what the heck? They go to their friends. They start hanging out again with new contracts. I won't use heroin, you know, and they start playing with the other drugs, and boom, before you know it.
Well, with this disease, we aren't like normal people that can socialize and have a couple drinks or have a couple hits of weed. I'm going to start with the weed, take a couple hits, and I can't stop smoking, go buy a big bag of weed, and then, you know what, maybe I should, down this and ease the cotton mouth of a couple beers, but you know what, I'm not going to stop at a couple beers.
Right.
Oh, alcohol, it numbs me, it kind of downs me down a little bit. Oh, you know what, it reminds me of heroin. and then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna get some heroin. I'm just gonna do it one more time. I'm gonna celebrate this. I'm gonna go say hi to my old friends. Nope, I can't just take a hit of heroin.
And just for your information, I mean, you're 24. You've been using how long? Since you were a kid, but
well, heroin specifically about 2 years,
so
a little over.
you're really pretty lucky you're alive, if
Yes,
you
sir.
really think about it, because we're losing 50,000 lives plus a year now to those drugs on overdoses.
It's an epidemic.
Yeah, but people are dying all the time. I mean, I got one I read the other day, right?
Yeah.
I mean-
That was
I mean,
terrible.
I mean, it's just, here, I want to read it again since you're here. This is just, it's terrible. And this happens all the time, and this, I can't stop thinking about this one, because it's right here, but let me find it. I'm just going to read the first paragraph, okay?
Okay.
This just came to me. Lost a friend's daughter last week to a lethal dose of fentanyl. She didn't even know she was taking fentanyl. She thought it was heroin. It is tragic what our children are doing. I am besides myself trying to comfort the mother on Monday at the hospital while she has her daughter on life support while she's brain dead, waiting for them to harvest her organs so she can help others.
Wow, that's such a shame.
But there's many more of them that I have.
What a wasted life, huh?
So the deal is this, is you really do it. I know this sounds corny and crazy and goofy. You got a second chance. Don't screw it up.
I rolled a 7 and I could have crapped out.
You could have crapped out. My guess is, and I haven't spoken to you, right? But my guess is you probably already overdosed or came close to it.
Yes, sir, many times.
And that's just a guess. My guess is you know people who already died.
Yes, I've been to a couple funerals, and I've been so high that I've missed many funerals.
So your family can do one of two things. They can plan they can buy a box, or they can have their son back.
And I am definitely going with option 2 here.
I love that.
And now you've got
I love that.
And now you've got this whole wide
that
world
cool?
of possibilities that you're looking at. And when you were doing the drug, that's all you thought about,
It
right?
was a very
Your waking
mundane
moment
life.
was that drug,
When
right?
you wake
Yes,
up in the
sir.
morning and you start peeing, you're trying to figure out where you're going to get your dope.
And now you've got a whole world.
First thought. I get it. You know what? For 4 days sober or clean, you sound awful good.
You do.
Thank you very much.
No, I
Sure,
mean
you do.
you're talking clear, and you kind of you know where you're at. The trick is now to get it hardwired and to believe it and know. And once it comes from here to your heart, and if you really believe it, and you really make a decision to stay away from the triggers and the things that'll bring you down, and surround yourself with people that are going places that you want to go, your life will be good. I got sober at 25, and
Oh,
I'm
wow.
35 years clean.
Congratulations.
And everyone I knew growing up are dead, in prison, or sober. Period. There's no exceptions. None of them are still doing the same thing. They're dead, in prison, or sober. So it's really jails, institutions, or death. It really is. There's not another option. You can't use the kind of drugs you use or drink the kind of booze you drink forever. It's going to stop. Something's going to happen.
Can I ask you a question, Cary?
Yeah, of course.
What was your drug of choice?
It was pills and alcohol in those days, and I fooled around with everything, but pills are what brought me down to my knees. And I had to get clean too. I found myself in a pretty bad spot, and I don't ever want to go back there, and nor do I ever want to feel that pain, nor do I ever want my family to see that part of me. They will never see. My kids never have it, never will.
Right. I'd like to add here, though, that people have got to realize that alcoholism is a disease.
Yes.
It is not a weakness.
Yes.
Like people kick it to the curb and say, you're weak, you can stop. It's a disease like any other disease.
Once you pick it up, the obsession takes over, and you
Yes,
can't put it
people
down.
have to understand that.
Agree.
Because I think alcoholics are very misunderstood.
You know what, Lorraine could very well said. So hey, guess what? I'm dying to hear from you because you even looked familiar, and now I know why you look familiar. I dealt with your sister,
Yep.
and she's doing really good.
Yeah, she's doing really well right now. She's been clean and sober for about 3 years.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, she got clean when she was 15 years old.
I know. Yeah,
I'm
she
really
was
proud of
coming.
her.
She was coming to my group when she was 13.
Oh, that's right. I forgot she started that early.
Yeah, she was coming. So tell us your name and fill us in.
Well, my name is Jake. Today I have 18 days clean.
Awesome.
I've never been happier about that.
Why?
Why? Because this time around I actually want it. Before it was out of pressure from parents because I had lost things in my life, because I had to make many moves, and sometimes just because I was scared, but I was unwilling. And then once I got over that fear, as you were saying before, Cary, the obsession comes back, and you
It's easy to forget, isn't it?
I'm very good at rationalizing and re-justifying things and coming up with strategies, researching on the internet, using the knowledge I learned in school to like play with dosages and do research and mix certain chemicals. And sometimes I'd think I was too smart for the disease to come back, but I very quickly learned that that's just not a thing. This disease has nothing to do with intelligence. It has to do with
In
powerlessness.
fact, sometimes you could be too intelligent to make it. I buried a lot of intelligent people.
I don't want to be one of those people.
No, I don't want you to be one of those people. And the sad thing about it is I sat down and talked to so many people just like this and said the same thing I'm saying to you and went to their funeral soon after.
Well, you won't be attending mine.
Good. I don't ever want to attend yours. I want you to be old and gray when you pass away. I want to be able to call you the Silver Fox.
Heyo.
There's only one of those. So you were walking down the street one day, and a bong fell in your hands and said, "Smoke me."
It more hit me in the back of the head.
Yeah. What happened? How did this start?
Well, drugs and alcohol started pretty relatively young, around the ages of 13 or 14. Just going over to a friend's house, stealing liquor out of the cabinet, taking a few drinks, I'm sorry.
Right.
And
Did you hear that, parents? Did you hear that, parents? Almost every kid I speak to say the same thing. I got it from my parents' alcohol cabinet, or I found the pot in my dad's drawer, or I took the little anti-anxiety pills from my mom's medicine cabinet. And that's what I hear. Go on.
And I started smoking weed about 14 years old. Told myself I was only going to smoke it just a couple times, and then after I smoked it for the first time, I knew that was never going to be the only time. I wanted to do it the next day
Because
it felt really great, and I loved.
How do you tell somebody, guys? Listen to this. And I had the same thing. How do you tell somebody 14 or 15 or 63 that something that makes them feel so good is bad?
Because you show them the path that it can take you down. You show them that the high is only temporary, but the damage that it causes can't be permanent if you don't do anything to resolve the issue before it starts. And
I went to a funeral of a good friend of mine. Just smoked weed, but cancer throughout his whole body. I mean, just killed him. Real young. He said, I never use anything but weed. Huh? It's actually, it's got more stuff in it than cigarettes when it comes right down to it. Now, somebody that smokes cigarettes and weed, tripling their chances to get lung cancer, emphysema, or something like that. But go ahead.
so anyway, after I started smoking weed, I became infinitely curious about all the other substances that was out there, because alcohol and weed had such different effects on my body. I was very curious because I had heard about all these other things, and they didn't seem so demonized anymore. They seemed like different ways to have fun and elevate your life.
Right.
So throughout high school, I would buy pills from kids in class. I was very social. I'd talk to these people, get them for free. I didn't know what I was taking half the time. But the first time I took opiates, I knew that was it.
Stuff that you took. Go on.
That was
Why the first time? Tell me.
because actually the first time I ever took opiates, I did not know about what I was taking, and I took a very decently large amount my first time, and the way I felt, it didn't feel like being high. It felt like everything was right.
Yeah.
I felt that the world.
Wow, that was put very interestingly. Felt like everything was right.
It felt like nothing in the world could bring me down, that there's nothing but happiness in my life. Conversation flowed easily. Insecurities melted away. Talking to people was like, it was awesome. I had a good time making friends, but as soon as it was over,
It's almost
I wanted
like
to
your
find
best
more.
friend, isn't it?
It was my best friend, my girlfriend, and my mom for a little while.
And then what happens? You know what? It's always the same thing. It's my best friend, my girlfriend, my mom, and everything. And all of a sudden, bang, it turns on you.
Well, after years of continued opiate use, I graduated high school as pretty much an F student, and I moved to Santa Barbara to say to my parents that I could be independent, that I wasn't a flop, that I could do it on my own. And when I got there, I found college, and I found that I loved it. And then all of a sudden, all the drugs I had tried took a place in my life. Cocaine made it easier to drink more on the weekends and impress my friends. There were study drugs to make it, like, the study sessions last all night.
Right.
There was Xanax to calm me down when I had to do cadaver research. And then there was opiates all the time because it made me feel right. And then through all those years of drug use, somewhere along the way I found heroin. And it was the best thing I'd ever felt in my life. But I realize now that it was just the biggest lie I've ever been told. Because heroin would say, "You're not afraid." Heroin would say, "As long as you're with me, everything is going to work out. You can walk into that classroom, step up to the podium, and be a trendsetter. You can get up there and be the greatest. But the condition is you must have me with you. And if you ever leave me, you're going to regret it." And regret it I did for many years, until the point to where I couldn't pay my bills. I looked like a skeleton. I lost many jobs. And the thing I cherished the most, which is my science education, was flushed down the toilet. And I had to call my dad and return to the bed that he had predicted that would be ready for me when I did make my mess up. And it took 3.5 years longer than my parents predicted.
And they wanted it.
And I had to return home to that bed. And that wasn't even enough. As I was saying earlier, fear wasn't exactly the best motivator for me. I figured I'd come back to Santa Clarita, get some time under my belt, and then reevaluate my strategy and do it better this time. And instead, I ended up flunking out of COC for a semester. Well, I really just dropped out because I had straight A's, but
Right.
I had a week of withdrawals. I was just so bad. I couldn't go to class.
People
I was
and
demoralized.
withdrawing off of that stuff is so horrible.
It's it feels like you have the flu. Your body aches,
On
and
steroids times 100.
yeah, and you lose control of your body. And heroin's just calling your name the whole time, saying, "You know that I'm the cure. You can't go to a doctor and get a shot for this, or at least not a shot that they have for you."
Right.
And so after that, I lost my job, and I pretty much resorted to all the other illegal activity I'd been doing in the past to support my habit, which was stealing, selling drugs, robbing people, ripping people off, lying and cheating to achieve any kind of money. And I even started to work for heroin dealers as a runner.
Right.
And sometimes I would think, what if this drug is killing people that I'm giving them? And at the time, I didn't care. Because as long as my habit came first, I didn't care about the other people. It didn't matter anymore. And then eventually one day came, and I woke up, and I couldn't take myself anymore. I couldn't look in the mirror and say, "I like you." And it had been a long time since I'd been able to have that thought come across my mind. And to this day, I actually kind of don't remember the last time I thought that. I thought, "You lost school twice. You're all out of jobs. You're pretty much unemployable right now. A change needs to be made." And so what I did was I told my parents. I came clean about everything I'd ever done, about all the drugs I'd ever sold, about how I made all my money in college,
Right.
and how I exactly lost both schools and everything that I pretty much had. Respect, love, and trust from my family and friends. I've lost a lot of friends to this disease, and
They're dead.
a lot of friends have lost me to this disease. They don't want anything to do with me anymore. But a ray of hope came into my life, and I told my parents. We found Pyru House, and since I've been all in. Drugs and alcohol have nothing to offer me anymore.
Oh, they do. Pain,
But
misery, sorrow,
those are things that I'm not willing.
regrets, loss.
Those are things I'm not willing to take from them anymore. I don't want anything to do with them. And in the Pyru House, I discovered the 12 steps in AA. They work as long as you're willing to work it. The program is always there for you as long as you don't push it away. Through like fellowship, helping others, learning to love yourself and forgive others.
And you know what, Jake? You never have to feel that loneliness, sorrow, misery, either of any of you again. You just got to never forget it and remember that you can stay clean and sober for the rest of your life, one day at a time.
My time at Pyru House has been the happiest time that I've had in the last few days. I've made meaningful friends. I wake up with a smile every day, and I get to work on real life issues.
And this is rehab, guys, and listen to that.
It's I've never had more fun, and honestly, I didn't think I would.
It's not fake. It's real. You are now real. Your drugs are gone. The booze is gone, and you're with yourself. And what you all are going to find out is you are really good people. Be mad at the drugs, not yourself.
Yeah, can I just say something?
Yeah.
It's in Pyru House, we're drug-free and we're in touch with our feelings and we're honest with each other. We cry, we laugh. It's an amazing fellowship. It really is.
It saved
And-
my life.
We all love each other very much.
And we go to AA meetings regularly and follow the 12 steps, and as long as you do that diligently, we'll make it.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah.
This is Families in Action on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Families in Action here on KHTS, AM 1220, your hometown station. And I got to tell all of our listeners out there, you were only about 10 seconds away from hearing Cary sing along with our theme song.
Come on, people now. Smile on
Now,
your brother.
Cary, before we continue, because
Everybody get together, Mike.
you're doing all right.
Hey.
Before we get back to our guests, who are just doing, by the way, a phenomenal job.
Oh, yeah, what a
Absolutely
great
outstanding.
show, yes.
Outstanding. Listen to this, Cary. I want to repeat this because it's so important. The SCV Drug Take Back, Saturday, April 30th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and this will be at Henry Mayo. If you've got drugs, unused, expired medication, whatever, all you have to do is drive by. We'll have some people there, including Cary and myself.
I will be there.
We'll take whatever. And listen, you don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to say a word. You can just drive up, take all those things
And by the
out.
way, we don't care if it's legal, illegal,
No.
where you got it. It's going into the bin, and the DEA is going to burn it.
Right. And nobody's going to say a thing to you.
No,
That
but-
is, unless you're doing illegal drugs when you show up. Then you got some explaining to do. But other than
Well,
that,
just to
you're
us. So,
All right, Cary.
I'll just throw you in rehab.
back to our guests, Cary.
You know what? You guys were wonderful, and we only have a couple of minutes left, or a few minutes left, and I know there's some people that can download this, where they can watch it on YouTube. And what do you want to say to anybody? It's up to you guys. Go for it.
What I'd like to say is to all alcoholics and addicts out there that may be listening, you don't ever have to drink or use again to have a happy life. Drugs and alcohol are the biggest lie in the world, and you don't have to subscribe to that anymore. These 18 days in the Pyru House have proved to be the most happiest, most productive days I've ever had, filled with laughter and joy, fellowship, getting in touch with my feelings, and I've learned that there's no such thing as problems anymore. There are only opportunities to improve, and you haven't lost anything. All it is temporarily unavailable. So to alcoholics and addicts out there, I want to send out the message of strength and hope, because everyone has it in them, and everyone has a second chance. So don't think that you have nothing left to offer the world. The world has everything to offer you, and there's so much happiness, peace, and love out there if you just strive to find it.
Don't ever forget those words you just said. In fact, I want you to download this, save this, and watch it once a week.
I will.
That was powerful.
For the rest of your life.
That was powerful, Jake.
Yeah, you said it better than I could have. I'll tell you that.
Thank you.
You're on, sir. To anybody else, to anyone,
Thank
whatever you
you.
want.
Just to add a little bit to what Jake was saying, all addicts, alcoholics, you do not have to feel alone, isolated. This pain, it is temporary. If you let it be, you can change. We are living proof that this works, and with fellowship and with getting in touch with your, whether it's spirituality or religion or touching base with life once again, and you don't have to feel powerless anymore. You can take control, you can take grasp, and you can have your life back. We do not have to succumb and die to this disease. To all young people that are listening, or of any age, if you have never tried drugs or alcohol, if you're being influenced by people that you think are your friends, these people, they are sick. They have a disease, they are demoralized and desensitized, and they will bring you down, because misery loves company. And at the Pyru House, we love life.
Well put.
Tyler, I just have to say, I could see it in your eyes. That came from your heart.
Lorraine.
Hi, I'm Lorraine, and I'm a recovering alcoholic. I will always be an alcoholic, but it does not mean I will drink. One day at a time. I do recommend Action Family Counselling. Pyru House is a wonderful place, and there's hope for everybody out there. I would like to say to my family, my son, my daughter, I'm so sorry I disappointed you, but from now on, you will never, ever see me drink.
Wow.
What a show, Cary. Wow.
That gave me the chills.
It did me too. Wow. They said a lot of things that gave me the chills.
Oh,
What
my.
an amazing three people that we had with us here.
You know what?
Yes.
I want to give Gina a moment to jump in and say whatever she wants to. You work with them every day.
I do work with these guys every day, and they're all so positive now, and I remember Tyler a few days ago, he was in bed and miserable, and now he's just coming to life. And Jake, the heroin withdrawal is a drag to watch. I never did it. I was an alcohol withdrawal, so but you guys are alive, and Lorraine, I see a change in you this time. I really do. And it's so good to watch, I'm so glad. You guys are sticking with the winners right now, Keep it up.
Very cool. And again, thanks. If anybody wants to listen to this, you can go to AM 1220 KHTS, and it'll be podcasted, and you can also watch it on YouTube. There's no excuses. Time Warner, I know we're on TV every Monday at 4 p.m. Mike, what a great show. It's time to close.
Phenomenal show,
I want
Cary.
all you guys back here when you have 6 months sober. I want you back in this room.
There's no
In fact, I want you
Sounds
back.
like a deal.
In fact, I want you back in
We'll
here
be
when
here.
you got 90 days.
I'll definitely get in contact with you.
I'll give you my cell number.
Wonderful.
Okay? Yeah. No, I'll give you my number. 90 days. I want you all sitting in this room in 90 days from now.
It's a deal.
Hey, I think we have to close, do we? So thanks again. You guys are, you're doing it, man.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
This is Families in Action on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Till next week.